The sanctuary gate opened just wide enough for him to leave. The chimp didn't step forward. He froze. One hand gripped the metal frame. The other pressed to the viewing glass where the researchers watched, breathless. This wasn't a routine release anymore. He was supposed to choose now. Freedom. Or the humans who had raised him. Dr. Miles lifted her hands and signed through the window. Go. Or stay. The chimp's chest rose fast. The forest ahead was alive with shadows and movement. Everything he was meant to return to. But behind him stood the only beings who had ever protected him, fed him, and taught him to speak. He looked at both worlds. Then he lifted his hand. Not to wave, not to point, but to sign a single word. Why? The staff stiffened. A wild animal wasn't hesitating. He was asking. Nobody expected him to ask anything. The researchers exchanged stunned looks as the chimp's hand hovered in the air, waiting. This wasn't the confused mimicry of a rescued animal. It was a real question from someone standing between two worlds. Dr. Miles knelt by the glass, signing gently. Forest is your home now. The chimp's eyes drifted to the clinic behind them, the place where he learned to eat again, to sign, to trust voices. He tapped his chest, then the humans, then the trees. You kind? He signed. Forest, safe. Outside, the wind rustled the leaves, carrying distant calls from wild chimps, a life he belonged to but did not know. Inside, the team stood still, afraid of influencing his choice. The moment was no longer about release. It was about trust, and whether he believed the world beyond the gate would hold him the way they once did. The gate slid open only halfway before stopping, intentionally slow, giving him time. The chimp stepped toward it, then backed away, circling the enclosure with restless, uneven strides. His fingers brushed the dirt, then the fence, then his own chest, as if testing which world still felt like his. Dr. Miles watched from a distance, hands lowered, shoulders tight. No pressure, she whispered. We let him choose. But choice was the struggle. The chimp climbed to the observation platform, the same place he learned his first signs. He paused there, staring at the empty hammock, the bowl where he used to sort colored blocks, the perch where he'd watched storms from behind glass. His breath quickened, not fear but grief. He moved again, heading toward the feeding station. Empty now. No fruit, no soft voice telling him, good job. Just the quiet hum of the lights, fading with each passing day as they prepared to let him go. A rustle came from the gate. The forest called. Insects, leaves, distant chimps. No bowls, no fences, and no watching eyes. He stopped in the center of the enclosure, trembling between memory and instinct. The humans stayed still. No calling his name. No coaxing. No offering food. Letting go meant letting him decide without their shadow shaping the moment. Slowly, he turned back toward them. His palm pressed against the glass wall, the one barrier that had separated their world since day one. His eyes softened. He signed with slow, careful gestures. Humans? Good. Forest? Calling. Then he pointed to himself and signed. Try. That single word hit harder than any goodbye. With a deep breath, he walked to the gate again. This time, he didn't hesitate. His hand curled around the metal frame. His foot touched wild soil for the first time. He stepped through. And as the gate slid shut behind him, he didn't look back, not out of rejection, but because the hardest part of leaving was already over. For hours after he crossed the threshold, the researchers watched from the observation deck, unsure whether to stay or give him space. Dr. Miles remained closest to the fence, hands tucked into her sleeves, eyes fixed on the tree-line where the chimp had disappeared. They don't always come back, one ranger murmured. Maybe he will, Miles said. But even she didn't fully believe it. The forest answered before she could finish. A soft rustle. Then another. The chimp emerged from between the ferns. Not running, not afraid. Just watching them with a calm that didn't belong to a creature torn between worlds. His fur glistened with pollen. Leaves clung to his shoulders as though the forest had already begun to claim him. He approached the fence again, stopping just a few feet away. The staff held their breath. Miles crouched, lowering herself to his level. "You decided," she whispered. He reached out, not touching the fence this time, but the air between them, a quiet bridge made of memory and trust. His fingers curled in a gesture they had seen only a handful of times. His sign for safe. Miles felt her throat tighten. "Are you telling us you're okay?" The chimp blinked once, slow and deliberate. Then he signed again, shaping each gesture with intention. "Humans? Kind. Forest, home." It wasn't an accusation. Not a farewell. A truth spoken with the simplicity of a heartbeat. One of the interns wiped his eyes. "He came back just to tell us that?" But the chimp wasn't finished. He pressed his hand to his own chest, then to the ground, fingers splayed over the earth. A choice claimed, a promise made. Finally, he pressed his palm to the fence post, not needing the barrier, just acknowledging the place where he had learned to trust. The wind picked up, carrying the scent of moss and rain. Birds called overhead. The forest seemed to lean closer, listening. Then the chimp stepped back. One sound left him. Not a cry, not a call, but a soft rhythmic knock against the fence. The same one he used as a baby to ask, "Are you there?" Dr. Miles knocked back. He turned and walked into the trees, shoulders relaxed, his silhouette swallowed by dappled green light. Not leaving them behind. Carrying them with him. In the weeks that followed, the sanctuary felt different. Not emptier, just quieter, as though the forest itself had taken a deeper breath. The researchers still checked the feeding stations, still logged observations, still walked the perimeter at dusk. But every patrol carried an unspoken question. Would he return? Sometimes. The answer was subtle. A broken branch. Fresh fruit skins by a stump. A patch of warm, flattened grass beneath the fig tree, as if someone had just been there. But the clearest signs came at night. Rangers on the North Trail reported hearing soft, rhythmic taps on the trunks. Not random knocks. Not woodpeckers. 3 light beats. Pause. 2 more. The same pattern he'd used as a juvenile, sitting in Dr. Miles's lap during stormy nights, asking, "Are you still here?" And always, the forest answered, wind brushing through vines, leaves trembling in reply. One evening, Miles found herself by the same gate where he'd stood weeks before. The woods stretched ahead, deep, ancient, full of secrets. She placed her palm on the metal, eyes soft. "You're home?" she whispered. A faint shape moved in the canopy. Branches swayed without wind. Dark eyes glimmered through the leaves, watching, calm and certain. He didn't come down. He didn't need to. His presence was enough. Miles smiled, feeling the ache of pride settling warm in her chest. "We didn't lose him," she said softly. "We gave him back." A final tap echoed from the trees, gentle, unmistakable. A greeting, a reminder. Walls separate, but kindness reaches through. And the forest closed around the sound like a promise kept.